All right, guys, let's talk about meeting guardian angels, teachers, whatever you want to call them. Perhaps you want to see your own personal guide. Generally speaking, there's a few things that I need to clarify before we go into that you need to understand. And the first thing that you'll want to know, of course, is how to tell if you're even talking to a higher being. Yes, there are individuals, there are entities that will present themselves as being, let's say, your teacher or guardian angel. And the way that you can tell the difference is, and there's actually a couple ways, but I'm going to cover the first one. The first one is this: there is a presence about them that's undeniable. Okay? There's a reality to the dream that feels almost as real as if you and I are talking right now. As you sitting in your chair, even as we speak, there's a reality about it. Also, generally speaking, there's a sense of knowing. There's a connection, telepathic connection that they're going to do with you. And when they say something, it's going to also be relayed as a knowing, to where you can see, you don't see each individual event, but you can see the course, the thread that leads to where it is that you want to go, or what it is that they're trying to tell you. Now, entities that are not higher selves or higher beings, you don't get that. You just have the feeling of talking to a regular person. There's no sense of presence about them. Second point, which you guys aren't going to want to hear, but I'm going to tell you what it is. They will generally only appear to you. I mean, you cannot force them to do so. Now, I know in the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, they'll talk about how you want to have a God presence about you, connect to that God presence, and then they have no choice but to respond and do what you say. Look, they're not that stupid, okay? They know that they're not talking to God. They know that they're talking to you, connected to the God presence, but you're not actually God, and they do not need to do, or they're not forced or compelled to do whatever it is that you want them to do. The only time that they're probably going to appear to you is if it's a situation to where you can grow, to where you can get an epiphany. Now listen, that's not bad. This is good, okay? While they won't help you to make $1 million, they won't help you to get your girlfriend back. What they can do is give you insights to have an epiphany. And this is what they're really good at, all right? When you have that epiphany, for those that have had it, there's a feeling of power that you have right after it, and a little bit of fear. They are empowering. They give you power. There is no rule, unless it goes against your dharma, your personal dharma, that you can't use the knowledge, that self-knowledge, the knowledge of the nature of reality, the knowledge of the nature of the mind, to get what it is that you want. They will always, eventually, and I want to stress eventually, appear to you if the reason for wanting to connect to them or to contact them is for the great work, internal alchemy, to follow the spiritual path, if that's what you want to call it. I like to call it just the path, to follow the path out of the darkness, out of the dark realm, and into the light realm, which a lot of people like to call the heavenly realms. This is a place where they live. This is a place where a lot of the strife and a lot of the pressure that you don't even know that, or even realize that you're going through, that you experience all the time, it doesn't exist there. They will definitely help you, even if it's against your dharma. Dharma means your destiny. It's a term for destiny. We all have a destiny. We all have a purpose when we're born into this life. The only get out of jail free card is following the path. So before I go into contacting them, I want to relay a dream for you. You ever had one of those dreams where you hear a voice say, "Open your eyes, it's a dream"? Well, I had one. And I opened my eyes, and I was in a room, and I knew that room was actually home. There was a peace about it. There was a contentment. And then I heard the voice again say, "No, open your eye." And I opened my eyes, and I was in my apartment. And I could feel there was like a stress that's always on us. It's almost like, you ever had a sprained ankle? It hurts all the time, but after a while you forget that it's sprained. You forget that it hurts until it's actually gone. We experience that same thing within this reality, or within this realm. Yes, the first time I opened my eyes, I was in the realm of light. If you want to call it heaven, I really hate doing that because there's so many really wrong stigmas attached to it, wrong symbols. Now, I want to give you a tip when contacting them. There is one thing that they cannot deny, that they cannot say no to, and that is an open heart and asking with sincerity. If you are truly sincere in asking them whatever it is that you want to ask them, if there is a sincerity about it, they'll sense it, and they have to respond. They have to give you an answer. They have to assist you. Word of warning. Remember, we may get what we need and not what we want. Just remember that. Because you'll find when dealing with higher beings, that's the axiom that they follow. They will give you what you need. All right, let's get to it. You guys have been listening to me for the last 5 minutes. I've already told you how to do it. If you've been watching my other videos on dreaming, I already told you the technique. And I'm going to expand on it a little bit because my next video is going to be on manifesting or creating what it is that you want in your world. There's a trick to it, there's a technique to it, and it always works. The only thing that you have to give to it is time, but it always works because I'm going to explain to you about karma and dharma, how they work and how they inhibit you from getting what you believe that you want or that you believe that you need in this life. Tip number 1, and something that you have to do. You have to develop desire to do it, an overwhelming desire. Think of it this way, you're crossing the dimensions, and it's not an easy feat. You need to develop desire. The second point, and this is kind of harder, you have to intend it. Now, what do I mean by intending it? Have you ever talked to somebody and there was like a word that you couldn't remember? I mean, it was like on the tip of your tongue, like perhaps it was somebody's name. But there was a block. You just couldn't think of it. What did you do? You took that intent to know that name and sort of put it in the back of your mind. Because the harder that you tried to remember it, the further away that it moved from you. You could almost feel it moving away from you. But when you put it in the back of your head and left your intent on it, your intent to remember, what happened within maybe 15, 20 minutes, that name popped into your head. That's the exact same thing that you want to do. You want to intend to meet. And I'm going to recommend, I highly recommend this because you have the closest connection to this being. Your guardian angel, your manager, your dharma manager, your destiny manager. That being whose purpose is to make sure that you follow your destiny. You're already connected to them. It's easy for you to get your message across to them. You need to also be specific, and you need to memorize, make it second nature. Because your brain doesn't work the same way in your dream body. What is it that you want to ask? Be concise. Run it over your mind several times a day and then put it back in the back of your brain again, just like trying to remember. That's manifesting. You're bringing that into reality, which I'll go into more on bringing things into reality. Dreams are a little bit easier, but we'll go into that later on. So make sure that you know exactly what you want to know. Odds are good when you meet this being, you're not going to have to ask because they're already going to know the question. And when you run that question through your mind, you want to have that feeling of sincerity. You want to be sincere. You want your heart open, almost like telling a lover for the first time, almost like seeing a baby born, your own child born, and seeing it for the first time in your hands. That feeling of openness of the heart, you want to have that. The third thing that you're going to have to do, you're going to have to keep focus, the power of focus. There's 3 things that you have to master. If you ever want to get into magic, the spiritual path, whatever, it doesn't matter. You have to have desire, intent, and focus. You need those 3 things. It's a huge help if you can remember your dreams. If you've already gone through my other videos and you can remember those automatically. The good point is this. You don't have to master that for encounters with dream entities. You don't have to. Higher entities. Regular entities, yeah, you do. But, guardian spirits, teachers, you're going to remember. They will probably wake you up after you have the encounter. So, now, keeping your focus, what I highly recommend, take a note. Put it on your mirror. When you get up in the morning, make sure to get that desire, have that question, put your intent, and then put your focus into it. Reason I say first thing in the morning is because that's when you have your strongest connection to the other side. Because you're still waking up, you're still somewhat groggy. Your awareness is still connected between your dream body or your higher self and your physical body. It's the best time to do it. And then make sure to put notes around so you bring it up. It may take a week, it may take 2 weeks, it may take a month. We don't know. You don't know. What I will tell you, though, for a fact, without a doubt, if you do what I say, and if your intentions are for personal growth, to be able to become a better person, I will guarantee you this will work. You will meet one.